This is IBM Museum, and I'll just have to describe the scene because on my bench, the top system that is showing on the video capture right now is that 8086 based Model 30 with the revision 00 BIOS on it. That's from September the 2nd of 1986. It's the earliest PS2 BIOS that has been observed out there. And it does have a different font that is displayed on that system. It's not real easy to see from this screen. I mean, normally when you get into the ROM-BASIC, it gives the splash screen at the top telling the version and has IBM copyrights and things like that. Well, I've already typed in a program, so I don't want to go through and just power cycle the machine and have that splash screen up. I mean, it's taken me some work to list that program, and I'll show that in a moment. But I don't even have a diskette drive on this system. No hard drive, nothing else. It's planar in the case, powered up, keyboard connected, and that is it. And then, of course, I've got the video capture connected up to the MCGA output of the planar. And so it goes through and it warns me that the diskette drive is not detected, 601. The time and date aren't set, so that's fine. But just pressing F1 gets me dropped into ROM-BASIC. Now, I've got this particular program, and I can go through and I'll show it on the machine. Or ultimately, there's a little bit more text. There's some spacing there. But I go through and have some loop structures just to kind of gain the format. And I went through later on. Of course, I was incrementing by 10. And then I've dropped some additional print statements in there just for the formatting. I didn't want to rewrite everything. But this is the listing of the program I'm going to run. I could go through and condense this, and I think it's probably obscure enough of what I'm doing in this case, but I'm just printing a header and then skipping a couple lines and starting a loop that I'm going through and printing some lines of information of the character set that's on the system. And I don't want to print the character codes below 32. Those are just control codes. And so it would go through and beep and line feeds and backspaces and things like that. We're going to start at the character set from the space and all the printable characters, basically. The machine will display characters on the screen if you go through and do quite a few of those control characters. But that is extraneous to the conversation. Now I'm going to go through and I'm going to, in fact, I can go through, I'll just briefly shift to, let's get that off the screen. Let's go through the browser capture. And I'll provide a link in the video description because this is referring to that font that's on the character set that's on this version of the Model 30 BIOS. And you even have the ability to go through and type in some text to go through and to see what it would look like if you're running this system. Now, so the program, I'm going to grab a hold of the keyboard and I will do just a list statement first, showing what I have typed in. And of course, I have a little bit longer text and everything else. Now I can go through still and have this up on the screen with my webcam. But once I go through and before I run the program, I want to drop off my webcam view on the screen just to make it the program output more visible. So let's go through and do that. Get me off the screen, and I'll do an F2 for the run command. And it goes through and it has that header about the 8086 base Mol30 revision 00 BIOS. And I go through and I'm starting the printing from the character value of 32, which is a space. That's why that initial upper left-hand corner character, there's nothing visible there. And then going through and printing each successive character of the set with a space after it, and looping through to where I have the, all the down through 250, character 255, which is like a null value, I think. And that's why that doesn't show, but showing the box drawing characters and other things. And of course, the main view of this font is that you have the 0 is, has a slash through it to be differentiated from a capital O that's on the row below that. And the capital O in this case even has kind of, it's more ovalized than what it was later on. And so it goes through and get myself back up on the screen, and it crosshatches the 0 just to differentiate it from the capital O. And that still is, here's capital O, and here is the 0 of that font set. So the going through and doing a list of the program again, and I'll go through and I'll run this on the 8-bit PS2 display adapter that I have in my Mac Mol30. Just have the same listing and be able to type it in, even though I can enter BASIC in a different way. And going through on the MCGA and VGA of other PS2 mols. I can do a Mol30 or Mol25 that has a the only BIOS produced for the Mol25, since it was done after this one, or a Mol30 where I have any of the, like the revision 2 or revision 1, revision 2, revision 4 BIOS, just to show what that looks like. And I can go through and, capture on the screen of that output to kind of have some image files too, even though it is visible on that page. I'll provide the link. So it's just a way in the ROM-BASIC. And I'm using ROM-BASIC just because it's easy to write a short little program, and also without necessarily the interference of the DOS environment, some of the character sets that can be put in place and things like that for some of the systems. So this is just a brief little program that I wanted to kind of run and display the characters of that set. So if you thought that this video was informative, you learned something from it, you liked it, go ahead and click on that like button, please, and subscribe to my channel if you've not done so already, because we're going to have video content like this and go over and do things. Recommend it to your friends if they are interested in this sort of content as well. But this is IBM Museum. That's all I have for now. Thank you.